Kamagani. I'm Meghna Kumari Singh. I live in Jaisalmer. I'm married to Vikram Singh Bhati from Nachna Haveli. We have a hotel here which we are running since last 20-25 years. Also we have a restaurant which is called Saffron. So Vikram and myself are involved, apart from running a tourism kind of a industry. We are also involved with a lot more revivals, renewals, if you may call it that, of Jaisalmer in every way, because he belongs to the royal family of Jaisalmer. And so we are on a revival of many arts like music, the handicraft, the architecture, also literature, along with all kinds of pottery and all aspects basically of Jaisalmer, which make it as heritage, like treasure that it is. Apart from that, we have 3 children who are like 12 and 11 years old, 2 daughters, and we have a son also who's 5.5. Apart from being parents, and also running a hotel, he's into politics, I'm into my social work. So I do have a foundation which I've started last 6 years back. It's called the Uttishta Sansthan, which is basically for the revival, like I said, of everything which is beautiful, which means the women and the girls of this area, who I think now need a lot more encouragement and boost up, just to remind them that what they had going for all these thousands and thousands of years that they've been doing is what they need to do still, because that's what is going to sustain them for the rest of their lives. Education being one part of their growth, but something like handicraft, which is handmade and which has always been a part of their lives and culture, and things that they needed at that time were made by hand. So these are the issues that we are trying to again bring up with the village women, and trying to like present it back to them that what they had going was brilliant, and the world is coming to see that, instead of giving it up and going in for newer things like plastic utensils or anything which is like quickly purchased from the market and then disposed of. So we are trying to tell them that they should go back to the natural ways of making things like utensils.
So how are you exactly working with them and trying to promote that and bring that into life?
Yeah, so I basically, what I do is a very personal thing. I go to the villages, I sit with them in their own homes, and I talk to them one-to-one. It takes a lot of time and effort, because firstly they're very inquisitive about who I am, where I'm from. It's like a first conversation, and then we get to the next thing, which is, of course, then I put my views across to them, and of course it's like first they're shy about these things. They don't want to like show and reveal, because they think it's nothing important, or it's just something which is very little. So what I try and tell them, that thing that they think is not really, they're putting into the corners and hiding it. So I try to bring it out, and I try to convince them that this is what it is what it was, and this is what is going to be. So what my entire take on putting that vision across to them again is that they need to continue doing and not leave it. Go for the easy things that are available in the markets, while they're spending money, of course, on that. So why not keep doing what they were doing and teach it to the daughters? Tomorrow when the daughters get married, it's like, it gives them some avenue to just create. Because when you're sitting in the house, you could be educated, but when you're sitting in the house and you have to keep a family going, and life can be, like all of us know, life can be kind of monotonous after some time, and you just don't know what to do with yourselves, and then you have a couple of setbacks. You just think life is like not going to happen the way you want it. So I think a woman has always created something beautiful, and once you create something beautiful with your own hands, I think it just makes you a more happier person, a more satisfied person. You don't have time to like waste your energies on negativities and depression and just like all those issues that we have now in the world, which is just like overpowering everybody. I think it's a very simple approach to life. When you have nothing to do, or when you have something to do, or maybe you're like upset about something, you just pick up a thread, a needle, and you just create something beautiful, and then you just feel much happier. I think it's just human nature. Yeah.
And also it does like empowers women, make them independent.
Independent. So that is where we come in, right? So because having their household things made by them is good, of course, is very nice, but then how do they manage to like sustain it and take it another step forward is where I think we come in, where I would like to encourage them and help them in maybe procuring materials for them which are more accepted by the world outside, which they might want like in a good fashion house, or maybe in our own homes we might want those certain linens or something which is they could do embroidery on. The material could be so much better, and so just my foundation works on trying to bring that into their homes where they could sit and create something beautiful, but of course not me telling them the patterns, them creating individual patterns and creating masterpieces like which are just single, and not copied from a design or something, which is their own, which makes them, I think, create the color schemes of what they're going to be using, and it brings in all the ancient designs with graphic patterns which they have, which are of course going out of fashion very, very quickly. So just kind of reviving that is another thing that I want to look into.
My next question would be, what exactly is the future project that your foundation is doing?
Uttishta Foundation, that Uttishta Sansthan that I have, my first projects were of course with the weaves. So we've got these carts, the cots weaved by these artists, these weavers in the village, which we've used in the camp that we have, that we've just come up with in Khuri. It's called the Bodhi camp. That's where we are projecting also some of the art, and we gave them of course work, so they're earning out of us, and we have a place that we can showcase. In fact, after people saw that, they realized, and we've got many kind of orders, so there is a future for that we are working on, and I think it's coming out brilliantly for the artisans. But my only requirement with the artists and the weavers were that when you work, you need to have your daughters and your granddaughters sitting with you, not only the boys, but of course little boys and the girls. So it should not be just centric to a certain type. We should give it to everybody, whoever can maybe earn out of it or become, and creativity might come out in many ways. So that's my entire aim, and that's one project that we've already done. The other thing that I would like to do is the carpets that they would weave, which is again going out of the Jaisalmer carpets are very, very interesting, because it's collected out of camel and sheep and also goat hair, which is like, it's kind of a process which takes a long time, and just to weave that one carpet, it's kind of very, very difficult to do now. So they have just let it go because there's no takers for that. So trying to revive that so that they would keep their livestock and not dispose of those and carry on with the livestock, and how they kind of can teach the world to take from nature and then just make things out of nature, and how it was in the olden days. So that's another project. And apart from that, of course, the women's centers that I would like to create in the villages itself. And my entire aim is that if I would like each woman to sign, to make them like understand how to make their names, write their names, and embroidery, with embroidery and with thread work, have a little signature. And I'm going to keep records of each woman, what they create, because I would like that half the cost of whatever we sell or we try and get into the market goes exactly to that woman, not to the rest of them, but to every woman, because then there will be healthy competition, and we would like everybody to up the game. So that's another thing that I want to work with, is individual pieces with their names on it, with the kind of if the woman earns, the family prospers. So that's the idea.